Hello, my name is Barbara Baier. Welcome to the Lancaster County Democrats Watchful Citizens Show. Today we're going to go and be discussing a very controversial issue in our community, and that is the possible selling of Lancaster Manor, a public nursing home that's run by the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners. Our guests today are Kim Kaspar and Marlene Lauer and
Tina Coffey.
Tina Coffey, excuse me. I'm going to go and start with introductions, and they're going to go and tell us a little bit about what they do for a living and how they're involved with the Save the Manor Coalition. Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim Kaspar. I'm the current president of the local union, which represents Lancaster Manor employees and several other county agencies. And this has just been a big battle for us to go through this whole thing. And we look forward and thank you for having us on the show.
Good, good. Marlene.
I'm Marlene Lauer. I'm a social worker at Lancaster Manor, and I'm also vice president of the Coalition to Save the Manor.
Great. And Tina?
My name is Tina Coffey. I am a registered nurse at Lancaster Manor and president of the Save the Manor Coalition.
Well, could someone explain to us exactly what the manor is, Lancaster Manor is, what kinds of people you serve, what the history of the manor is? Who would like to take a stab at that?
We're going to give it to Marlene, I think.
Okay.
Well, Lancaster Manor was established. They had a farm that they had several people that lived at, and there was a need for Medicaid beds in the community. There was a shortfall of those beds, and so Lancaster Manor was established to provide the Medicaid beds for the facility. It is definitely a home for many, many people, home with a heart. There are residents there who have been there since the beginning. So they've been there almost 40 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, it is. And we take care of people who have families, people who don't have families. We now take many pay sources, so it's not just Medicaid anymore. Private pay can also come there. Medicare, we're now Medicare certified. But for me as a social worker, I see a huge role in people who are on Medicaid and who don't have families, because that's the only home that they've really known, and we're able to provide them a better lifestyle than they've ever been used to in their past.
Okay. And now this issue of Medicaid beds comes up many times. Could you explain to me, maybe Tina, about Medicaid beds? What do we usually experience in the private pay nursing home industry?
Well, per state regulations, all privately owned nursing homes are required to only have 10% of their beds be Medicaid certified beds. Many privately owned nursing homes do have a larger amount of those beds, but they are only required to be 10%. At Lancaster Manor, we run about 85% Medicaid beds.
And so if they went to the hospital, let's say an elderly person has gotten sick, they go to the hospital, can they have the expectation that they can return to the manor then to their Medicaid bed?
There is an expectation that we will hold a bed for 15 days for a Medicaid eligible resident.
What happens in the private pay world?
I think I'm going to defer that to Marlene, because
Yes.
she actually worked as a social worker in a facility that did do these things.
Okay.
Medicaid guidelines are that they have to hold a bed for 15 days when they go to the hospital under Medicaid.
Okay.
So there's that 15-day window that they have. After the 15 days, that bed is not necessarily guaranteed.
Okay. But one of the things I've heard a lot over the last couple months is that a lot of people experience a lot of difficulties with Medicaid beds in the private sector. Can you speak to that at all?
Even trying to place residents that I have that have wanted to move closer to their parents or to their wife, or for example, you know, say somebody lives at Tabitha Village and they want to be at Tabitha, and I'm not trying to point anybody out specifically, but just trying to get anybody any closer to another area of town has been very difficult. There's anywhere from a year to a 2-year waiting list on a Medicaid.
So there's a long waiting list. If we didn't have Lancaster Manor, is it possible that we wouldn't have enough Medicaid beds to serve the need in our community?
It would depend on if the county board sold under a structured sale, where they guarantee that there would be a high percentage of occupancy at Lancaster Manor. If that was not the case and they went down to the 10%, there would be a very large decrease in Medicaid beds in Lincoln, and therefore people would have to move to surrounding communities.
So that could create huge stress for people that already are under the stress of a limited income, and they might have to move out to a small town. There's no public transportation there, and then that person wouldn't get any family contact. Their quality of life would decrease.